Hey, welcome to another SATech Dad podcast. I'm Alan, and Drew and Corey are with us. Hey, guys.
Hey,
What's
hey.
up? Hey, Alan.
Hey, it's good to have you guys here for another one. This is our second try at this, and just talking about being a uh, technically oriented dad in San Antonio. So I got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and Drew, let's kick it off with you. This is something that there's something coming up this weekend that you have been a big proponent of, and just wanted to get your take on the Chalk It Up event in San Antonio.
Yeah, it is a fantastic event. As a father of youngish kids, I've been 2 or 3 different years and had an absolutely great time. I'm disappointed I'm going to be in Houston this weekend, but if you were going to be in San Antonio and would like to go to Houston Street Saturday morning, I recommend doing so because I believe it's SA Arts or one of the big art proponents here in San Antonio puts together this event every August, October. When are we? This time every
It's
year.
October.
When the weather starts getting decent and nice, and there are probably 7 blocks, maybe fewer, but quite a few blocks of Houston Street gets closed off. There are different people putting together intentional and beautiful pieces of chalk art. And then there are also a nearly limitless number of pieces of chalk up and down the street for kids to make their good times and then put art all over everything. And there's also musicians and street food and other fun stuff. So it's a free event. It is fantastic. Um, it is definitely a worthwhile thing to do Saturday morning. It's the 10th on Houston Street here in downtown San Antonio. Um, it would have been my 4th year to go, but as I said, I'm not going to be in town. But absolutely recommend it. It's one of my favorite events. It's fun to go be creative and let the kids run amok and be downtown and meet other people, other like-minded parents of young children in the area.
It's something I've always wanted to go to, but just have been in similar situations that you're in this weekend. Being out of town or whatever. Corey, have you had the chance to take the kids?
So I haven't had a chance to take the kids yet. This actually just hearing about it. This will probably be my first year going. I have also youngish kids. So I think that I'm gonna take them out there and give that a shot. Drew, I will go in your stead. How about that? I will
I
carry the
need a
torch.
proxy. I need a
Yes.
proxy. Appreciate it.
So I think I'm gonna go this weekend and check it out. It'll be my first year going, and of course, any reason for the kids to go and have an opportunity to chalk up the freaking streets, just let them have at it.
Live
Yeah,
music, a photo booth, food
You
trucks.
you know there'll be food trucks. There has to be. It's a
oh
San
yeah,
Antonio thing.
yeah. And it's a lot of fun. They close down, a bunch of contiguous blocks, so you can just walk right down the middle of the street, pushing strollers,
That's
just
fantastic.
dodging children. You're not dodging vehicles, which is far well safer for you. Children may have to still be concerned, but it's a good time. Right out there in front of the Majestic and all that. So worth checking out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. Definitely. Well, that's good stuff. I think the other big thing that's happening downtown San Antonio is the reopening of Hemisphere Park. Corey, you were out there this weekend, right, with the family?
Yeah, yeah. I took the kids up there on Saturday and spent the whole day there. It was a fantastic time. So they had a couple food trucks there. They were doing free samples of stuff. It was there's just stuff for kids to climb on and jump on and play on. There's a splash pad. So like the summertime, that's gonna be the spot to go to. Um, a lot of the companies that are going to be out there. There's a couple. There's a brewery that's opening up at the end of the street. OK Brewery, which used to be San Antonio Brewers. They're going to be out there. Another restaurant that's going to open up down there. Um, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited. It looks like it's gonna be like this mecca of just take your kids, hang out, grab a brew. Apparently, you can grab a beer and like walk around the park with it, which I think is great. They're gonna have root beer, so like kids can just go grab a drink and then go play in the sand, go play in the water. That panther thing is insanely huge. But I posted a couple pictures on Twitter about it because the jungle gym that's there. is like a rope course, like something out of American Ninja Warrior, and
It's amazing.
it's legitimately amazing. And
There's like
uh,
a tornado at one end,
right,
like
and
a sound wave meshed with a net, meshed with
it's
some beautiful
at
pirate
what
ship thing.
at one point I was like, oh look, it's the Doppler effect, and it was amazing to see my daughter, my 9-year-old, just any reason to climb. She's climbing on the rope, she's getting on top. There's a slide at the bottom. My 2-year-old made it to the top and decided that this was a poor life choice, and realized that Dad can't reach that high, and goes, so what are we gonna do? And then slowly back down. But it looked like something out of
35.
yeah, just 35 minutes going. That was yeah. He made a bad idea when he went up there, and
Well, that one's crazy tall. That
that
with the
one,
two TPs, and
yes.
they're connected by a rope. And I didn't
Nope.
quite know if it was intended to like arm over arm with at
Yeah,
you
it
know
was.
two and a
It's
half stories or
intense.
whatever it looked like it was. I probably exaggerate, but
No, it's high. It is
up there.
high. But it reminded me of the infamous Mad Max movie, not the new one, the Mad Max Thunderdome, and that's what like my daughter gets out there, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Welcome to Thunderdome," and I'm like, "Go," and I'm like,
It is the
"All kid,
Thunderdome. Yeah.
every kid goes in, only one kid leaves," and I was
it's
like, "Let's do
daily. I
this."
think there's
Well, and look at this thing right
messages
here
like
is
that.
like 5 children tall. I mean, it's
Oh
like
yeah, and my son, this was his goal that he wanted to go on the slide specifically. Like he did everything in his power to get on that slide, and that's why he wanted to climb. And I ended up climbing on it with him to let him go down the slide. I didn't even get to slide. I just let him do it. Yeah, it was great. It was great. I had a lot of fun. Lots of great stuff. They had storytellers out there. It's also right there in front of the Magic Theater.
oh, nice.
So I mean, they had actors and actresses walking around and talking to the kids. It was amazing. It wasn't too crowded when I went on Saturday. Tons of kids, but it was probably going to be a staple here for San Antonio, like one of the probably the more fun parks to go to.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I
and
was I was there on Monday at lunch, so I had jury duty downtown, and so I was there, and there were still quite a few people. I mean, it wasn't jam packed, but that splash pad was absolutely getting used. There were kids all over the Jungle Jimmy business. They looked like they've got a couple of like concrete um, ping pong tables. There's a big
foosball
giant
table.
concrete foosball table. Um, there's a sand pit that has like a water table that goes down into the sandbox area. Just a ton of really cool things. The construction is ongoing, so we haven't seen all of it yet, and they haven't made it so you could just walk through the park like you used to be able to walk through Hemisphere Park. But even kind of the entryway has that same jungle gym spider web feel. I imagine it's beautiful at night. Looks like there's a lot of colorful lights up in the meshwork, and it's just a matter of time before the vines all grow up where they're supposed to be, and the rest of the landscaping kind of all comes together the way it's intended. It already is a really fantastic space.
It looks interesting. What I think is neat is that they are really focusing on making this a San Antonio space. There's so much. I mean, San Antonio is a tourism hub, right? And then that's a great thing for our city, but it's also kind of pushes the locals away sometimes from some of the really nice attractions down there. And this is something that they're really focusing on, making it be something for us locals. So I'm really excited about that. I think that's a great thing for the city to do.
It's incredible how much a urban park will make urban living more possible. Um,
Right.
there's a couple like when I think of beautiful, wonderful urban parks. I mean, Central Park is the kind of go-to in New York, and I can't imagine living um, in Manhattan and not having some space like that to go be in. And Central Park is gigantic and really well executed. And I'm not comparing Hemisphere to Central, but to make urban living possible, you need a space that can provide some of those things. And so I'm really excited for San Antonio that they're building in that way. We've already got the Riverwalk. We've expanded a lot of those things. But the more of these gathering points, these recreational public spaces, I think the better off our downtown will be. Uh, it's no Golden Gate Park, it's no Central Park, but it is on its way to being a beautiful centerpiece to San Antonio's downtown, and I'm excited to see it grow.
Absolutely. I think we all are. I think we all are. Well, that's good. That's definitely something I'm excited to take the kids to. It's one of those things that as the wife and I talk about, where we want to, live with our family, right? And one of the things that I want to do is live a little bit, more close to downtown, and it's one of those things. Well, we'd like to be close to a good park or two, and just having more options that are available. There's more areas of the town that we could potentially look at.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the other big thing that's opened up recently is a little bit uh, old now, but the Museum, right? The new expansion of the San Antonio Children's Museum, right? And that's another thing that's happened recently. Have you guys had a chance to go yet? I know we haven't.
So I've gone twice. I've gone with kids and without.
Ooh, which is better?
It's a toss up, right? Because it's two different experiences. So the first time I went, we went and we did the family trip, and everybody got to see everything, and we got to play on all the things. But when you get there with the kids, you go, I want to do this. I want to play. They have like a little spy area, so like the kids can go in there and be spies and solve puzzles, and there's like
Be
a
a spy?
right? So I'm like, I want to be a spy. And then there's like this musical area, and they have a huge outdoor area that you can play in the water, a lot of wood stuff that you can climb on, like another wood jungle gym, huge teepee with a slide, lots to do, lots to do. So my girlfriend and I are walking through it, and we're just hanging out, having a good time, and the kids are just running amok. They want to play on everything. There's a toddler area. So my 2-year-old has a little area he can get in. He can drive a little bus, look like a little construction worker. I posted some pictures on Instagram about it, and it was an absolute blast. The kids loved it. The museum does a parent night or adult night. I won't say parent night because you don't have to be an adult. You don't have to be an adult to go. You don't have to be a parent to go. And they host it with food and drinks and everything. When you go with the kids, you're like, I want to do all of this, and then you go without the kids, you're like, I'm going to do all of this. I was like the spy area. I'm going to solve it. I'm going to open the secret door. I'm going to go through this uh, old school laser, something out of James Bond area that you can climb over and not set the alarm off. So I'm this adult crawling through this little hole, something out of Alice in Wonderland. And my girlfriend's like, you're going to get stuck. And I'm like, I can do this. And I got through without setting the alarm off. And I was Tom Cruise. I was Mission Impossible. It was great. Yeah, it's an absolute blast with or without the kids. There's enough for everybody to do there. I can't recommend it enough. And they seem to be doing these adult nights, once a month, once every quarter, and they're being more prominent because it works so well. It was an absolute blast.
So I just got to go this week for the first time. We have the season passes, so my wife and kids go quite a bit, but um, it worked out for me to go this early afternoon this week, and definitely didn't get to see it all. And from what I did see, I need to go back. But my son got to play. They've got a couple of different robot stations where they've built kind of those Connects type robots or Technics, and you get to drive those around through mazes and do all kinds of stuff like that. There was the backhoe simulator we got to do to build a helicopter out of paper, and they've got like a wind tunnel to shoot that off with. And we had a great time, and I might have spent an hour and a half there. And the place is not, there are huger places, but the place has so many corners that I didn't get to do any exploration in. And having been to the previous children's museum, I'm really happy with the way everything turned out. The place looks like $1,000,000. The place has all of those kind of go-to standards that kids really love, like the grocery store area to go and
That was
10
my
plus
favorite
for
part of the old
shopping.
one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean the one in Houston has like all kinds of amazing checkout areas with like the lasers that you scan everything on, and um, that's what where I grew up, and I remember going there and being like, man, this is the best. I get to pick out all the ice cream I want, and it's just awesome. But they've got a lot of really good science. They're at the museum, and it seems like what they have is as hands-on as they could possibly make it. Um, Certainly looking to go back and look through a little bit more of what's there and kind of watch my kids do their exploring. But then I think Corey's recommendation for maybe some hors d'oeuvres and science fair projects and James bonding, I think would be a good thing.
Do it, man. It makes for an amazing date night. It really does. I have to ask you, did you get to do the ball thing with the where they shoot the balls through this air tunnel, wind tunnel? So there's wind tunnels everywhere. And they're like little gerbil uh,
So,
pipes.
so yes,
Yeah,
but I
right?
spent probably 15 minutes trying to hit the
The
symbol,
gong.
and for
Yes.
whatever reason, I couldn't get the aim down.
Oh,
It's
I had it.
it's just set up.
Parents' night. I was up there. I was like, I'm making this
I
happen. I'm gonna sit right here, just poof, 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 just launching balls of that thing until I got that satisfying crash, and I was like, done,
I
done.
gave up with the cannon and just ended up throwing it.
Oh,
And even that took a while, but that's something totally different.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good time. I recommend going, taking the kids, and I hear that not taking the kids is the perfectly adequate option as well.
Absolutely.
Well, they've rebuilt it from the ground up as a. Or they built it from the ground up, right? So this is
Elsewhere,
a.
yeah.
It is a single-purpose facility for the purpose of pushing massive amounts of families through and to do all these awesome activities. And somebody was saying that they had seen more kids come through, or more families come through in the first 6 weeks than they had basically an entire year before that. And I mean, just because they had kind of crammed the old children's museum, and it was great, it was fun, but like this is a very much purpose-built thing, and they can put so many more people through, and it's a better experience for everybody. So that's a
Yeah.
great thing in town.
I think people are more comfortable trying to find parking in Alamo Heights than they are trying to find parking downtown, and that's
Absolutely.
I don't know that that's something that I see easy to find parking downtown. You're going to probably pay for it, but um, maybe that's a mindset thing that would benefit from changing a little.
Yeah.
But I think that's driven a lot of it too. I mean, Houston Street's easy to get to. Parking is around there. You have to walk a block or two, but I think people assume the headache of being downtown is great. So let's go to Alamo Heights, and I would argue with that, but I think there's maybe a mindset that could be changed, but that's still, I think, a benefit that they're deriving from being where they're at.
Well, there's one thing. So you brought up parking. I wanted to address this for people that want to go. The parking there is horrible. The parking is absolutely terrible because not because of parking around the area, but the parking lot itself. And I think that's not. They didn't plan for this many people to show up on a regular basis. So when you get there,
Too good a job.
they did a great job. So,
Building's amazing.
so
Everyone wants to go there.
trying to get a parking spot is almost impossible. You end up parking in other parking lots. Now, from what I read in the newspaper just recently, is that in local news they're going to expand that out to accommodate more people, which I'm great news. I'm like, this is a problem that you want.
Where?
I have no idea. That's the thing is that
Did they buy Planet K and they're going to pave it over? Like,
they're going to have to do something.
Everything's buildings around there.
Yeah, it's urban living,
On
so it's
Charlie's,
really hard.
Planet K. There's a bunch of apartments in the area.
Maybe a side parking lot in the back. So I have no idea where they're going to do it at. So they're in discussion of what they're going to do and how to solve that problem. But in my opinion, that's a good problem to have.
Well, and one thing though, I mean, like this is mostly serious. I mean, it is right across the street from San Antonio's best public transit option, which is the little train at Brackenridge Park and the zoo.
Yep.
And
It's consistent. It's always on time.
and it actually works. I mean, it takes families
You want
from
to go to the kiddie park? It will get you to the kiddie park.
and,
Last train comes at 5:15. Get aboard.
yeah, well, and that's what we need is a better public transportation option where and we're getting there, but we really need to. We really shouldn't have
We're not really
shot
getting
down.
there.
You're right.
I,
You're right.
Exactly.
I want a Hyperloop. Can we get a Hyperloop somewhere? Can I get
But
that around the area?
Yeah.
to that extent, I mean, just a couple more of those Via Transit buses would do, or the Primo buses, right? The ones that go on in more express routes and hold a whole bunch of people. And the idea of going downtown and parking once, because I mean, that's the thing is like if you go for an entire you go for an entire trip, you bring the kids in from what are basically the suburbs, the Stone Oak area, way out west where I live, something like that. I mean, it's you go in and you park, and then you can walk to a couple of different things, but then if you have to go somewhere else, you have to get back in the car and try to find another parking spot and pay another parking fee. And if you can find a place to park, and then even if it's just transit within that that core area, then that helps a lot. But
I would love to see uh, the Primo that went from basically Blue Star all the way to the airport.
yeah,
They already have the Fredericksburg uh, setup going, but I wish it was light rail instead of the bus because that would require some additional infrastructure and potentially be um, something more consistent, not at the mercy of traffic. And I would like to have seen that step because then you can move that out a little bit further, maybe get out all the way to UTSA. And there's a few spurs that could certainly merit the additional expenditure. And here in San Antonio, we're pro spurs, so we should do that. Um,
I see what
I
you
would
did
just
there.
really like to see. I'll do what I can. I would just like to see a lot more access to those things, and we're all about the free parking, and we're all about the family car or the commuter car, and there's time and place for that, but it's um, not the only way. And as we grow, if we want density, we need to invest in some of those other things.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, public transportation is a big thing out here, especially. Then San Antonio is just one of the fastest growing cities right now, and it's going to be a problem. It's going to have to be addressed soon. So,
So we're not going to have a landlocked issue. We're not going to have a New York or a
Right. San
Cisco
Francisco and a
problem
Peninsula,
because
yeah.
that's a geographic requirement of where they are. We have land in every direction as much as we want. So
yep.
it's going to have to be a decision that people make, not a decision that geography makes.
Right.
Right.
And I haven't really seen the spine to do anything about making that decision. I mean, we're having a hard time even getting annexation discussions really moving with different pockets of the county that are refusing to pay for resources that they use that all of the other people who live in San Antonio proper are paying for. And so I I have a feeling we're going to continue fighting the sprawl monster, and that's unfortunate because it came from Houston and it takes forever to get anywhere.
Oh, yeah. I-10, no. I-10
Yeah,
at 8
you're
o'clock in
heading
the
to
morning.
Houston
Could
tomorrow,
have
Drew,
visited
right?
that
You better
today.
start now.
Yeah.
Oof.
So.
Good luck, sir.
Mm.
That's fun. It's fun. Well, I'm going to try to go up to Houston on Sunday and catch a baseball game. See
Houston
the
Astros.
see the
Woo-hoo.
Royals lock down that ALDS championship. So that should be a good game. Good game there. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Cool. One other thing that I wanted to chat about today is how we um, share our technology with our kids, right? And uh, specifically like tablets and devices like that. Um, there's a couple of different ways that you can go. They have the kid-centric tablet, so it's like an actual Android tablet that has the operating system on it, but it's modified a little bit to have a more kid-friendly version of it, right? So it's going to obviously have some parental controls, and oftentimes you can choose how much time they're allowed to use on it, things like that. And then there's the like the what is it, Leapfrog, I think, is the one that it looks like a tablet, has basically the same form factor, but it's very it's a little bit more limited in what's on there. But the quality of the applications of the games is very very high in the educational value. And then there's of course the option of just having just a regular old tablet and using that. I just want to know what your guys' takes were on, what do you prefer for kids to share these things? Because I think that it's obviously something that they need to know how to use, right? They need to learn technology. This is going to be their life. It's tablets are possibly going to be their textbooks as they grow up and go off to school. So, what are your thoughts on sharing this type of technology with these with our kids at a younger age?
So I have an iPad, a very broken iPad, because kids. So that's one of the downfalls of the iPad. It's a fantastic device, easy to use, easy to pick up, big, colorful, candy-like buttons. My 2-year-old can use it like a pro. He wants to watch Netflix. Netflix, swipe, watch Mighty Machines. He's good to go. He's set for a while. My daughter uses it. So I have the 9-year-old, my daughter, and the 2-year-old, my son. My son just uses it because he likes Netflix, or he wants some really interesting game that just drives from here to here, and it's a car, and he can make it beep, he can make it honk, and he loves that. Every time he touches it, something crazy happens. My daughter, on the other hand, prefers it for reading. She uses it a lot for Netflix and those apps. So my decision is always very app dependent. Um, we're in the process of looking for a new iPad since we shattered the last one. Um, but so get a case. Pro tip: get a case. Whatever you get a case. No matter how robust they say it is, the child will figure out how to break it. But the iPad, it's been great. It does have parental controls. You can make it so they can't purchase everything. You can lock stuff down. My biggest my greatest preference about the iPad is that I have control over it because it's linked to my account. So I can see what my daughter is doing on there. So if it's connected to my YouTube account, so I can see what she's traveling through YouTube if she wants to see videos or if she wants to watch something. I can see that history. I can see her Netflix history. I can see what she's looking at on the internet because it's all linked to my preferences, which is great because it's that big brother thing. It's that dad always wanting to know what your kids are doing on the internet. Always be aware. I'm a big proponent of knowing what your kids are doing, and that's one of the advantages that I use that device for. Is like, if this is what you're doing, this is what's happening. Have at it. I've thought about getting the Leapfrog for my son and just like, hey, this is yours. Hey, I got you this tablet. Do what you will with it. Just don't hit the dog and let them play with it. So I can go both ways, but right now my heart's with Apple because it's so easy to use. Pick it up. A 2-year-old can use it literally. So that's where I stick. Just make sure you get a good solid case, and you should be fine.
So I don't have a tablet. We have 0 tablets in our house. I flirted with the Kindle Fire for a period of time and hated it. It was a refurb, so that doesn't mean that Kindle Fires are terrible. It means that the QC process on refurbing was not up to par. But I was really compelled by the way Amazon approaches their devices, and especially in a family setting, because you can set personas, you can set like timetables. You get 2 hours with this device, but the first hour and a half has to be reading, or whatever the case may be. And so you can really fine-grain control all of those things. Like you mentioned, the app marketplace drives a lot of that, and that's where I think Amazon is lacking. They've really put parameters around what their app marketplace looks like. Even though it's an Android device, it's not really an Android device because you don't have the full Google Play experience, and that can be limiting. But I was really interested in the way that might fit into our family's day to day, because the kids know, you've got a phone, it does cool things. Even like my phone, my kids don't play games on my phone, but they see me take pictures of them, and so when they see me with my phone, they're like, cheese, take pictures of me. And so it becomes an entertainment thing. If my daughter's crying and she sees herself on the screen, she snaps out of it pretty quick because she's more compelled by the way she looks than she is by whatever she was upset about. So for us, I think it's more a phone thing today, but there's some really interesting things in the marketplace, and I will take your advice and make the case a necessity when I move that direction.
Yeah, the case is an absolute must. Even with the case, they'll find a way to break it. But
Yeah.
um, I had a tablet that it's an old tablet, an older Android tablet, and it's just not keeping up with the things that I would want to use a tablet for. But man, does it still play Angry Birds, and it does that really well, and it'll do a little bit of Netflix, and actually YouTube has a kids app now that actually is limited to just the kid-friendly content. So it's and even the advertisement is very locked down to only things on there. I wish it was advertisement free, but you fight your battles, I guess. But uh, so I was able to make that the family tablet, and really the kids tablet, and so they'll get to play with that. And the thing that was appealing to me about the Amazon family was the idea that you could really set limits on how much time was spent using the tablet, and that's something that I haven't found a good on tablet solution for. I mean, obviously, I can pretty easily just say, hey, it's been 10 minutes. It's time to put that away and go to bed. But it's sometimes nice to have that reinforcement come directly from within the tablet itself, and so that's something that I think would be nice. But the Android had a lot of really interesting parental controls, the pure Android experience. So I can actually set up a child account as a sub account of mine, and all of my applications are then available on an application by application basis to be shared through to that child account. And then I can even from there I can restrict things further. So Netflix, you can do personas on Netflix, and I can say use Netflix and only allow this one persona to be used. So it doesn't get to watch any daddy shows, only gets to watch the shows that are appropriate for
I
his
heard
age.
Narcos is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, he's a huge Breaking Bad fan.
My daughter's watching Orange is the New Black these days, so I don't know
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. So
Not
it's
even
a good thing
my
that
dad.
we've got it figured out. But so that was really nice. And then same thing with Google Play Music, with Google Play Books. You can set maturity levels on them as well. So I mean, those are there. But this is something that I really hope to see more of from especially from Google. Amazon's already in there, and I think that Apple can do it as well. But this idea of we are families, and there has to be a way that we can share the same devices. I mean, the flippant answer is to say that, well, they just want you to buy more devices. But if we can find ways to share those same devices, and to say, hey, you get this subsection of music that's appropriate, and this subsection of videos that are appropriate for this amount of time, and then especially if once we start to take photos, on family vacation or whatever, that's what I really want to see is it move both ways, right? So not just pushing the applications out, but also collecting the photos and videos that we take together as a family, those experiences that we have, and kind of put them together so we can, have them in some family dashboard and keep them all in one place. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing more tools around that, and I think that's kind of one of the next places they need to go.
Yeah, the granularity of your technological ecosystem is going to be that's going to be on point. Like that's going to be how people need to see how if once you experience it and you can see how you can lock stuff down, it's great. So I agree with you 100%, Alan. I think that that's a good move, and granularity is a big thing. So
Well, on that note, I think we'll go ahead and end it.
yeah,
Corey
yeah.
agreeing with me. Uh,
Technology, yes, good job, Alan.
Yes,
Great, I
better
agree with
better
you.
wrap it up. Real quick, one thing I think that we thought we would do. Do you guys have any dad jokes ready? We talked about doing a dad joke to end out the show as we're all dads and prefer to do the puns. So, Drew, Corey, do you have any dad jokes before we get out of here?
I I,
Typically
I do.
contextual.
Was
What?
it?
Mine are typically contextual.
Ah,
Oh,
I
mine is
don't have any good canned jokes. I'm sorry.
I got a great one.
I have the one joke, and if I blow it now, then I've got no more.
okay.
One dad joke. You need to start writing more dad jokes down.
I've
So
got one. Got one fine.
All right, mine is I used this on my daughter the other day because she's a big reader and everything. And they had a big book fair at school, so she was like, "Dad, well, I want a Where's Waldo book." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's awesome." I was like, why? Oh, do you know why Waldo wears stripes?" She's like, "No, why?" Very, very concerned. And I said, "So he won't be spotted."
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, she looked at me and just rolled her eyes, and I was like, "Yes,
Landed.
success, nailed." I was like, I couldn't ask for a better setup. So,
So mine is a topical one. We've got the National League wildcard game just wrapped up as the Cubs versus the Pirates, and it turns out that they didn't have any restrooms in the dugout for the Pirates because if you get rid of a Pirate's pee, it becomes irate.
oh, booyah!
I see what you did
I
there.
stole that one off
Well
of
done.
Twitter, but
That's a good one
it's
though.
a solid one. Solid
I
one.
like it.
Dad joke. I'm gonna save my one dad joke
All
because
right,
Hang on to it. It'll be
joke that I
appropriate
have
when it happens.
it'll be good stuff.
someday.
All right, guys. Well, hey, this was fun. Let's go ahead and wrap it up, and we'll do another one of these next week. I think it's
Yeah,
we got
let's do
yeah.
that.
Yep. So thanks anybody that watched it and might be listening in the future on the podcast. So have fun in the future, and we'll see you later.
Later on.
Bye, guys.